Hi, we are backstage once again, backstage at the Boscov's Berks Jazz Fest. That was cool. Cliff Starkey, how are you?
I'm great.
I am so glad you're here. I have to mention this is made possible by the Berks Arts Council, so thank you very much. We appreciate that.
It's a wonderful thing.
Isn't it?
Absolutely.
Isn't it really?
Absolutely.
Do you know what's wonderful to me, you know, as an audience member, to be able to watch you and know, or at least what I know, is what I see, and you have this great passion for music. You were one of the original Groovemasters.
Absolutely.
And all you have to do is watch you playing and you can see, man, that's a happy man. That's a happy man.
Do you know, I really appreciate that. I totally appreciate that.
It's true. And to know that you can make a living doing something like that, that's purely by example, inspiration to young musicians in the area.
Absolutely. You know what? Speaking about inspiration to young musicians in the area, I love when I interact with them and give them something. I can tell them a story or give them something. Just say a person I'm teaching they're from the school of reading music.
Yeah.
And I'll play the same song that they did, and I'll say, hey, what was that? And I'll say, hey, this is a bag of tricks. Let me show you this. Look at this. And a smile on their face. I feel great if I can give back.
Do you teach lessons?
Yes, I do. Very few, because I call it private lessons, but I call it private lessons because it's pretty much I teach people that pretty much probably can read music already.
Right.
And they're in a performance situation
Okay.
where they want to just learn things outside of just being able to look at the music and read it.
Yes.
Which that's an awesome skill.
It is an amazing
yes,
skill.
It is. And I'm not from the school of reading music. I'm from the school of...
Oh, no, I mean, yours is an amazing... I'm from the school of reading music. That
all
I
right,
can do.
All right.
But I cannot... I can't do anything without music. I'm like, I don't know what to do. So that is a gift that you offer to students.
Absolutely.
That is pretty cool. How did you learn? You're not from the school of reading music. You didn't have formal training?
Well, no, I did not.
What?
I'll tell you what. On my father's side of the family, the McCoys, I'm born in Philadelphia. And nevertheless, when we moved to Reading, I was always going back to Philadelphia. Okay, on my father's side, everyone had a musical talent. I mean, they could sing, art. I started out as an artist, actually. I know you didn't ask me that.
That's pretty cool.
But anyway, my uncle, for some reason, would sit there at the piano and play jazz. He'd walk a bass line, and I'm just sitting there. I was probably 11 years old, maybe 10. And I'm just sitting there going, wow, do you think I'll ever be able to do that? He says, well, sure. And he would play some songs and improvise and say, Cliff, he would put my name in it, and I would go, wow, I gotta learn this skill. Now, I never had a piano. I never owned a piano in my house.
Really?
Look, my mother had 7 of us.
Yeah,
okay?
I hear you.
There was 3 below and 3 above me. I was that
right in the
centerpiece.
middle.
And the thing is, we couldn't afford a piano.
Right.
I mean, it's been a long time before I had it. So, anything I would love to hear, like say, I heard Charlie Brown, Snoopy.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. Lioness is called Lioness.
That's hard to play, actually.
When I saw the Peanuts guys jumping around and Schroeder bending over like that and playing, I thought, wow, that's cool, I want to do that too. And I would just keep music in my head. And then when I would get to school, after school, I would just sit at the grand piano in the auditorium after everyone would leave, and I would just stay there until they would kick me out, and I would just figure it out.
How did you find the notes, the chords that you're supposed to play on before you could go do 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 do?
I would just use my ears. I would say I would probably hear the melody do 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 do, and I would peck through it. And then I heard that.
Don't you think that's what makes it? I mean, this hand is playing something very different than this hand in that particular piece.
Absolutely, it's all about the rhythm.
Yeah, it is. You are gifted. You are gifted. So that's how it started.
It really started with my interest in music. I felt it gave me something. You know, I can't pinpoint what it was, but it was something heavenly. When I heard music, and I thought, wow, I want to do that. And then when I saw my uncle, that was just like, it really clicked then, because he was this cool. He had the Indian hair, because we have some Indian in our, you know, in our blood and all that. Yeah. He had the long Indian hair, and he's sitting there cool on the piano, saying my name and playing these cool jazz chords. And he, you know, he's the one who showed me stuff. So I would take it back home and figure it out, and expand on it, and make it my own. That was the key.
Does he know how much he influenced you? And the inspiration you
Absolutely.
went? Does he? Okay, that's very cool.
Absolutely.
That is very cool. So how did it go from there, learning this, and you just turned on by this, and it's making you happy, and you pursue this, to making a profession out of it?
You know, the first thing I can say, I just never stopped playing. If you're a musician, never stop playing.
There you go.
You know, because you never know where you're going to be. Look, if you become a doctor, if you become whatever you become or whatever, you always have your music. You can go home. You have you had thousands of patients, and you have patients that came in on you know, extra, unnoticed or whatever.
Right.
And you have a stressful day. You just can sit there and play your guitar, or your piano, or whatever you play.
It's an outlet.
And as an outlet.
Yeah.
But if you keep playing, you never know where you're going to go. You never know if you're going to get a call.
Well, somehow you got hooked up with what? Benny Sims, Dave Cullen, Scotty Mann.
Oh.
Who am I missing?
Well.
The original Groovemasters.
Oh, the original Groovemasters.
Yeah, who am I missing
Well,
there?
Benny is the center of the original. Benny Sims, he created the Groovemasters. He named us.
Well, how'd you get hooked up with Benny? How'd that happen?
Well, Benny is like a big brother to me.
Yeah?
There was a gentleman by the name of Fred Davis, a friend of my sister's, but he kind of heard me tinkling around with the piano, and he was a frustrated pianist himself, but he lived near Benny Sims. And he says, man, I want to take you by this guy. You know, you got to meet this guy, because Benny was always, he must have been an influential person back then. So anyway, I was introduced by this Fred guy, and then once I met Benny, history was made, because Benny saw something in me.
Yeah.
And I give Benny lots of props for that. He was the guy that can take this 11-year-old, 12-year-old. I can call him up and say, hey, what are you doing? Hey, I'm playing, come on over. He got me off the streets. I didn't get in trouble. I was over there.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's awesome. So Benny.
And then you got to go from that. Because we don't have a lot of time, but we're going from Benny and the Groovemasters, and I just want to go bam. Who's that remind you of? I mean, bam! Next thing you know, you're on Emerald Lagasse. How did that happen?
How did I get to Emerald? Is that the?
Yeah.
Hey, let's go from there. Yeah. Well, the greatest thing is, well, history with Benny stems from this history with Benny. Benny and I were in the 3 Degrees together since 1989.
Okay.
So, make a long story short, in Philadelphia there is this kind of a group of musicians, or there was a gentleman that kind of managed this group. So it was called Cutting Edge Orchestras. So nevertheless, there were clients that would pay lots of money for musicians that have been somewhere, have done something. So nevertheless, Benny and I got hooked up with that.
So they're representing you, so to speak?
No. More or less what it is, it's pretty much a wedding band.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Pretty much a high-scale wedding band. It was called the Cutting Edge Orchestras.
Okay.
That's where we first started. Okay, so there would be many musicians on call in the Philadelphia area, you know, reaching out to Reading and all over. Yeah. Okay, so we would come in. We were on this list, and so we would because we were overseas. We were in London, England.
With 3 Degrees
Japan,
at that
with
point?
With the 3 Degrees.
Okay.
And Japan, we were all over the place. So we had something on our resume. So we were in this group. And Doc Gibbs was in this group too. So to put it to you this way, there was a Cutting Edge 1, Cutting Edge 2, Cutting Edge 3, Cutting Edge 4, a big pool of musicians. So it was a really, a lot of people would pay a lot. So it was really marketed well, So nevertheless, Doc Gibbs was in this pool. So Doc Gibbs said, hey, I'm looking for a versatile keyboard player. So being that I was in this pool, you know, I got the call. My name was mentioned.
So you were at the right place at the right time. That makes a big difference. Yeah.
Exactly. And what I did was I branched out from Reading, you know.
Philadelphia, now you're situated in Berks County, I believe.
Absolutely.
In this area.
Absolutely.
And then 3 Degrees, international, and your cutting edge.
Yeah, the cutting edge orchestras. That was
And then Emerald.
absolutely.
Now, so didn't I just see you and Rachel Ray?
Yes.
Come on now. How
that's
fun was
awesome.
that? Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I put it to you this way. Rachel Ray does Throwback Thursdays.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and what she did was she wanted to give Emerald props. I believe this is what I'm thinking. No one told me this, or I didn't. It wasn't. But I believe she wanted to give Emerald props because Emerald really put the Food Network on the map.
Yes.
And she wanted to give him props with that. And what she did was she surprised. She had him on her show, of course, to give him. Mm-hmm. And then she surprised him and had the Emerald Live Band come in. So when he came on the set, he didn't know we were going to be there.
Oh, really?
Yes. So she based the show off of his format, the way he used to do the show. So when he
That is nice props.
So when he would do his segments, he would say, "Okay, stick around for the Doc Gibbs and the Emerald Live Band. See ya." And then then we would play. Then we would play back in. So that's what we did on the show.
Watching you play is awesome. So you are going to be playing with Boscov's Jazz Fest, I think April 1st.
Yes.
And the original Groovemasters are back together.
That's right.
And it's a salute, a tribute, if you will, to Alyssa B.
That's right.
Who you described her smile as just the most vibrant
Oh
sunshine.
my goodness.
So when you get together with the Groovemasters, what does that mean to you? You'll be doing it at the Inn at Reading, I believe.
What does it mean to me?
Yeah.
It means I'm home. That's like family. I mean, we've been doing this over 25 years.
Yeah.
Over 25 years together.
And how about the Jazz Fest? What has that meant for the Groovemasters?
Oh my goodness. It's funny, I believe it was last year, it was the 25th.
Yeah, it was, you're right.
Yes.
This is 26.
And I believe we've been opening up at the Peanut Bar for that long.
You're opening this year, aren't you?
Yes, we are.
People Chronicles are going to be there.
Most definitely. The Jazz Fest is awesome for us. We've been involved in it for a long time. I think it used to be the River Fest.
Oh, that was preceding. Yeah, that was a little bit different, but there was River Fest as well.
Okay.
So, and talking with young musicians, you said just keep playing.
Absolutely.
If you're going to give props to somebody, like you talk about the props Rachel Ray gave, who do you give props to?
Wow.
Your uncle?
I
Perhaps,
definitely give props to my uncle. I can just name two other people.
Who?
There was a gentleman named Edward Butler, older gentleman. He told me, "You need to get a magic book." I had all this knowledge or musical stuff in my head, but I didn't know what to call it. More or less the theory of music. He said, "I'm going to get you a magic book."
Is that a fake book? Is that what a magic book is?
Oh.
Uh-oh. Wait a minute. You got a costume malfunction.
All right.
Here you go.
That'll be a good outtake.
There you go.
All right, so we're back to Ed Butler. The fake book, the magic book, was basically a theory book.
Okay.
Okay, so I would just follow and say, there's a C major chord. Okay, there's a D minor chord.
So that's where you learned that.
Just kind of reinforced that for me. So he kind of created it for me, because everyone is at a different level.
Right.
So, you have theory in school most of the time, so you kind of know some things. So basically we would get together, this older gentleman, he played guitar and he sang like a bird. So, and Benny knew this guy too.
So you got Benny, you got Ed, you got your uncle. Who's the other person you want to give props to?
Wait, I said
your uncle and Benny.
Benny. That's...
And Cliff Starkey. I'm sure, I know there's a lot of props going out to you because you give inspiration, and I think you're headed to Reading High School actually to work with students.
Absolutely, that's what I mean. That's part of it. There's a group of guys there today, and I told them, you guys are going to be a group. They play guitar, they play the keyboards, and it's just wonderful that they look up to me for answers to their questions about music.
And it's wonderful that you're giving it back in this community.
Absolutely.
Thanks for taking the time. I know you're really busy to come here to the People Chronicles and let us go backstage with you behind Boscov's Jazz Fest. Thank you, Cliff.
Thank you.
My pleasure.